Hey, it's your boy Unk, Super Unk Gaming here. Friday night, the feeling is right, and I look better than you, and you don't know it yet, but I do. Anyway, y'all, so what's up? Hope you had a great week. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. So, new wrinkle added to our stream is that we are now doing tier rankings, and this week, shout out to the homie Vicious V for coming through, making this one. We're gonna be ranking factions in wrestling, and that covers, and he's done his homework, and as you see, there's factions from before I was born, there's factions during my childhood, and so on and so forth. We got something for everybody, goated and garbage. So I'm gonna hand the baton over to the homie V. We are, like I said, we're live on the Twitch, we're live on the YouTube. Y'all see the Cash App, the Venmo. Help get your boy a new house. Not kidding, but kidding. All right, y'all see all the factions here. There are countless ones. So let's go ahead and get started. And honestly, if this was solely up to me, this goes in goated tier already. We got the best versions. Hold on, let's see. We ain't got no audio for V. All right, so let's go ahead and introduce Vito. You go ahead and take the lead. This is your idea. So introduce, and let's start from the top.
Okay, cool. All right, so today, me, K-Rob, Kieran, M, and Aya, whenever she joins, are going to be ranking some wrestling factions. 60 different variations. Not only from WWE, but ranging from AEW, WCW, TNA, and
You got any ECW in there? Are there any?
I think that's it. Oh no. Sadly, I don't have any ECW factions.
Hey, that's straight.
But this is how. But we're gonna use a 5-tier list to do this. So the 5 different tiers, because I'm not done with that ABC nonsense. We're gonna be doing 5 different tiers. Hall of Fame. We got amazing. We got good but could have been better. We got mediocre, and we got should have never happened. Cause
I see a lot of should have never happened, bro.
Shout out to the Radiant Boys, because I got this idea from them. There's definitely gonna be more There's definitely gonna be more factions in the should have never happened from what they had. Okay.
All right. So first up. Diamonds are forever, and so are the Four Horsemen, baby. And I noticed the version that you have is, and then this has been the words of Ric Flair, the preeminent version of the Four Horsemen. I don't see, though, Barry Windham in here, but that's all right. But we got the version that has Tully Blanchard, J.J. Dillon, Ric Flair, Ole Anderson, and Arn Anderson. Listen, for me, that's Hall of Fame, without saying.
This is Peak Horseman.
Where do you got him at?
I think I'd say Hall of Fame, and I'm gonna be totally honest. I was trying to do my homework on this like last minute, but I just ended up watching a quick biography. But I've heard nothing but goodness from. But I think I'm going with Hall of Fame. How about you?
Oh, come on now. That goes without saying. Now, hey, Kieran, you can go ahead and unmute, man, because we definitely want to hear from everybody. But again, for me, listen, we don't have the factions of today without the Horsemen. Point blank. And their feuds with Dusty, Sting, even as baby faces with Terry Funk and the Great Muta, and it's countless. Also, Tully Blanchard's feud with Magnum TA over the United States title. Go watch their steel cage I Quit match over the U.S. title. It's one of the most violent matches you'll ever see. So that pure Hall of Fame.
I agree.
The first ever faction. So next up, we got another Hall of Fame faction with D-Generation X.
Okay, so what I've noticed here in the photo is you have the 2012 Reunion DX.
Oh no, we going peak DX, 90s DX.
So 98
I tried to
DX.
find
So,
one, but yeah.
well, I just wanted to clarify because Shawn was the original leader. There was his version until he stepped aside, and then there was Triple H's DX in '98. And Shawn's DX was heels, and Hunter's was baby faces.
Triple H babyface.
So looty.
But yeah, we just going like the whole lineage of D Generation X.
Bet.
Yeah.
That's Hall of Fame.
This is
to
definitely
me.
Hall of Fame.
Oh, of course.
Definitely Hall of Fame. I don't think Triple H gets where he is today without it. So
Yeah, that is true. Okay. Next up, we got probably my favorite trio of all time, The Shield.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, yeah.
Yeah, that's
No
Hall of
objections.
Hey,
mean,
also,
I agree.
also shout. Yeah, no, Kieran, totally.
Okay, well,
Well, let's just keep it pushing. All right, next up,
we
the
got
Death
the Blackpool
Riders.
Combat Club.
That's BCC. My bad. Sorry, I saw Mox and Claudio, and I'm like, oh no.
Blackpool
mediocre.
Combat Club.
Mediocre.
No, I'll put him in good, but it could have been better. Because there was some super.
I think amazing because I
Really?
enjoyed the four of them.
I don't know. There was like a time, like, I'm not like the biggest AEW fan, so like bear with me.
It's all right.
But I do remember a time where they were literally unwatchable. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're speaking of the Death Riders. That was unwatchable.
Yeah, Death Riders. That had
Wait, which one is this?
This is the
This is
Blackpool
the
Combat
Blackpool
Club.
Oh,
Which Mox, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta.
Danielson.
And they were also, for a time, managed by Regal.
Oh, my fault. My fault. Amazing. Sorry.
But I think Hall of Fame. I really enjoyed this faction.
The match quality was phenomenal.
Yep.
That's
What would you
my
say,
fault,
K-Rob?
guys. Sorry about
Amazing
that.
or Hall of Fame? Amazing Hall of Fame.
I go amazing.
It'll go with amazing.
Okay, we'll go with Amazing. Okay. All right, so this one is the Death Riders.
Okay.
Off the bat,
I will say.
wanna-
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Off the bat, I really want to put this in should have never happened. But to be honest, if we never got this, we don't get the great Hangman and Page match with Moxley finally beating him and Hangman becoming world champ again. And we also don't get the only good 1 month that they've had. And that was one after they turned on Danielson up to.
I'm gonna say good, but
Or am I missing?
I'm gonna say good, but could have been better. And why is what you mentioned when they turned on Danielson. Everything seems so ambiguous and open ended. We don't like. Okay, what is their real purpose? Quit being so flighty with their promos. I felt like to me they were working for somebody, and I always felt like that somebody eventually was going to be Shane McMahon. And we never got a conclusion where it felt like they were always talking about some kind of greater good. And we never really got that. Plus, you had a whole stable, and only one person was good at promos. You had a ton of charisma vacuums.
I will say this though. The Death Riders theme song was awesome though.
Oh no, it's fire.
Yep.
I just think there's just like with the Death Riders, like there's so much like hope because like there's like a lot of talent in that faction. But like
Yeah, but Death Riders reign. I've never been so bored of any of them faction. I'm thinking mediocre because of how long they went on. John
I
Moxley's
agree.
reign
There was some
as the Death Riders
some
leader felt like a prison sentence.
It did.
yeah, like Yeah, like there's some times where I saw the Death Riders and like I was like, man, I need to stop watching AEW for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Damn, it
true.
was really that bad.
Dude,
Like
you have like
I'm not saying it was flat out bad, like terrible, but they obviously had good moments. I just think like we also have like so many more factions that are just way better at that too.
Tony
I
Khan
see.
overloads that roster with factions.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has been it's been a problem since day one, ever since AEW started.
Yeah, I mean,
Just too
literally
many
opened
factions.
with the Inner Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, don't get me
I
started on that.
know.
Well, where are we putting this?
So
I'm
for
saying
me,
me.
it's good, but could have been better.
I put it in mediocre. That's just me though.
Okay, mediocre.
Yeah,
Now,
Oh
I think this
no!
has no argument.
Get the
Bottom tier.
get the Dungeon of Doom the fuck out of here.
Yep, the Dungeon of Doom.
Dog, they were a
Bruh.
blight on my childhood. Like, I grew up a WCW fan, and WCW was supposed to be everything that was the opposite of the cartoony WWF. And then Hogan comes in, and it's Hogan and Friends. Kevin Sullivan, I don't know if you know why the Dungeon of Doom existed. He created it solely to make Hogan comfortable and let him know that he could trust him because Hogan didn't trust Sullivan at first as a booker. So he created this factory of heels for Hogan to go through, kind of like your Saturday morning cartoon villain of the week type shit.
yeah.
True,
It's the
true.
same thing. It's the same thing that he was doing in the WWF
But the
with
talent wasn't as good.
Yeah, you
yeah.
had Kamala, you had Shark, you
But
had
that
Zodiac,
Shark was
you
a
had
terrible gimmick, but John Tenta was a hell of a worker.
the
Yeah.
only good heel you can definitely say that came out of this was Vader and the
Well, yeah,
Giant.
because it's freaking Vader.
It's
Yep.
the Vader. It's Vader and the Giant. Like,
Giant was
And
yeah.
green as
It's Vader
hell,
time.
but let us never forget Giant and the Yeti dry humping Hogan at Halloween Havoc '95.
Yeah, Hogan was getting sandwiched.
Yeah. Let's move on. I don't want to think.
Yeah, let's
I
move
will say
on. Up next,
I will say
up
this though.
yeah,
That
yeah.
that War Games match with Hogan and Team Hogan and the Dungeon Doom, it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
Not too bad, but it was pretty
for
fun
what
to
it
watch.
was, yeah. I mean, you had Sting and Hogan together, which was cool, but there wasn't a whole lot of positivity take from the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, definitely.
So what?
But next one, we got the OG Wyatt family. Now,
Oh
call me
man,
OG.
crazy. I
So the
think
OGY
good,
family.
but could have been better.
Are we including Braun Strowman as well? Or
Yeah, you can include Braun as well.
yeah, I agree. I think it good. It was so to me. Their first year was really good. Uh, their debut was awesome. How they were attacking like a lot of superstars.
yep.
Uh, I thought their match at the Shield, which is so frustrating to begin with. Why was it not at Mania? That I'll,
Because Cena needed a
I'll never.
monster to conquer. Lol.
Yeah, he need. Yeah, I mean that was
But
basically it.
That match
but
makes my ass itch.
but ultimately,
True.
like I didn't really like how they broke up because I didn't really think it benefited Bray Wyatt in any way. Kept losing like every match, if I can recall.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
they hit a
he
brick wall with John Cena.
yeah.
They teased Bray and Brock. Then we never got it.
It
the
was
one
weird
thing I'll
because
say,
it was
go ahead.
weird. It was weird that after the Jericho feud, Bray was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna set you guys free," and then only for them to come back like maybe 8 months later or whatever. It was like I don't know what was the whole point of them breaking them up or whatever, but at least we got Luke Harper winning the Intercontinental title. I
And
thought Dean
also,
and Bray.
Luke Brody as the IC champion is incredibly underrated. He had some banger matches.
Him and Dolph Ziggler
Yeah,
is, in my opinion, of that year is one of the best feuds of 2014. They had
Yeah,
really good matches together.
Also, got to
And
be in person. Got to be in person to see Brody on Team Authority for that Survivor Series match against Team Cena. Holy shit!
Well,
oh,
I
that
think
was that was
um
excellent.
yeah, it's just like at the end, I just think it got like pretty stale. But we'll get to the second Wild family because oh boy, man,
Honestly, I would put it in amazing,
I put
but
it good, but couldn't have
low
better.
end of amazing. That's just me.
Low end of amazing. That's fair.
Okay, low end of amazing.
I guess.
So next, you got the Randy Orton version of the Wyatts, right?
Randy Wyatt family.
Yeah, I so
Un-
uh,
underrated.
I I I think this is the best version of the Wyatt family. Um, personally, I the only thing I don't like is how it ended with whole Randy winning the Rumble, and you know Bray Wyatt like losing at Mania, and like the whole match was just terrible. Like it's the only thing I didn't like. The rest of that, like the end of 2016 to early 2017, was cooking. So
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like
Until we
that
got the
story.
match covered with CGI roaches.
that was
I feel I
terrible.
feel
Yeah.
I feel like with that story they should have like low key have done the remember when Ted DiBiase was like given the belt by Andre in '88. I feel like
Yeah,
they could have done a similar thing with Bray and Orton in a sense. Like they kind of tease like Bray wins the Rumble and Orton wins the title in the Chamber, and then Bray's like, "Hey, hand me the belt," or whatever the case may be. And you
and
know,
he gave it to
I mean,
him.
that could have been that. You know, that could have been a
The,
little bit interesting. You
the
I
way
know,
I
like
would have
that
but
idea.
the way I would have done it, like if I was booking it properly, I would have let Bray would have won. I think Bray should have won the Rumble, and then Randy win a Chamber, win the championship, and then Bray beats Randy at Mania. Because at
Yeah, I
that
would have
point,
done it in reverse too.
Yeah. True. True.
like that's why it's holding me back from putting it into Hall of Fame. But overall, like it still was an amazing faction. So yeah,
It served its
yeah,
purpose. I
yeah,
think amazing.
it's definitely better than the first Wyatt family. I think so. Evolution.
Here's a controversial one next.
Evolution.
I think it's the best faction in WWE history.
you know, it's weird. It's weird that you know I would agree on that, but it's weird because like Evolution is known to be like a top tier faction, but at the same time, many of us hate the reign of terror of Triple H, which is majority of what Evolution was. It's like
Right, it's a total
it's
damned if you
it,
do. Like, yes, did it elevates and make new stars out of Batista and Randy? Yes. However, look at the aftermath in its path.
Yeah. I think
I
I think
mean,
the problem what holds Evolution to be the overall GOAT wrestling faction is that 2003 happened. It's just that if that year didn't happen with the Scott Steiner feud that was terrible, the Booker T, even though it was a good match, he shouldn't have won. Or no, Booker T should have won. Sorry. Uh, and then he has a feud with Kevin Nash, which I guess like then like okay matches, but like nothing spectacular. Like the reality is Triple H held that belt for way too damn long. The reason why it brings me back though is that '04 was really good. He had really good matches with Chris Benoit, um, and other
Sean.
superstars, and Sean, yeah. And then in '05, like the we got Batista out of it. It became one of the biggest baby faces in like wrestling. So, um,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I would
The
say that. Oh,
payoff
actually,
was worth it at the end of the day, but another victim of Evolution was Orton's babyface turn. God, it was awful.
Yep.
it was
It's
re-
true.
it was really bad. Just like I always bring up the picture of '04 Randy. Look at him. Like this dude's not a baby face
He
yet.
is
He's just not.
he oozes douchebag.
Yeah. Like
Yep.
And you're going up
I will.
against it makes it even worse because you're going up against Triple H.
Triple H, who's a dastardly yet cool heel. He's the dickhead with the cool music and the cool intro and all of this type shit. If Orton would have retained the title at Unforgiven, and that would have really helped establish him, because when you make a new babyface, their first big program, once they turn, they need to win. You got to establish them and get their feet planted in the ground and say, "Hey, this is our guy." That's why Raw did not have a true top babyface in 2004. I mean, like their number 2 babyface basically was Eugene outside of Benoit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, salute.
Technically, yeah, you're not wrong, but I mean, you still kind of had Sean ish.
Oh yeah,
Jericho
yeah.
still.
But yeah, Shawn,
But I will.
Jericho, Eugene, Orton, and Benoit.
But I will say this though, that I mean, Triple H did had a pretty good, a pretty solid last man standing match with Sean, but that Hell in a Cell match was, in my opinion, the drizzling shits. But that's a different
Why
story.
did it have to be 48 minutes?
That is the most self-indulging main event match I've ever freaking seen.
It's
bro.
a total
so
dick
bad.
measure. It was a total dick measuring thing for Triple H. He had a lot of matches like that, a lot of feuds like that. Though I would say Evolution is low end Hall of Fame. And it gets that Hall of Fame status for me because of the 2 stars that came out of it.
And also, Ric Flair had some pretty decent moments too, like
Yeah, he did.
in Evolution.
The
I was
world
actually
title
gonna
match
bring
he
up
had
Ric
in
Flair.
03 with a Triple H, when they were teasing him turning babyface, and had the match in Greensboro, which is Flair country. And for one night, he really turned back the clock and reminded everyone why he was Ric Flair. So yeah, Rick had moments too.
He had a brief feud, and he had a brief feud with Sean going into Bad Blood as well. Um, that was also pretty cool too. And even that
Yeah.
brief feud with him and Orton and Taboo Tuesday. That was pretty cool.
That was a slept on steel cage match they had. That was a pretty good bloody steel cage match they had.
You know what's funny? When we bring up Ric Flair, I always bring this up because it's not only about like Randy Orton and Batista, like how it like propelled them to superstardom. It's also revitalizing Ric Flair. Because I don't think people remember during that time that I think like the late 90s, 2000s, people thought Ric Flair should have retired because he was getting way older, like the matches weren't as good, and then they form Evolution. Ric Flair has some really good matches with Undertaker, with Shawn Michaels, and even Triple H. So,
and even crazier, even with Vince, their street fight at the O2 Rumble was a lot of fun. It had a lot of smoke and mirrors and all that, but that was fun, and you could tell Rick needed that, because believe it or not, Vince McMahon was trying to boost Rick's self-confidence, to remind him, you're fucking Ric Flair. That's literally what that was all about.
Is it just me, or does it feel like Triple H is like the fourth out of all the Evolution guys? It feels like he's like number 4 in this faction. Like, talk about how cool Randy was and how cool Batista was, and how fun Ric Flair was, but Triple H is the leader. He was like the fourth interesting guy in the group.
I agree with that, simply due to the fact that I think people saw because I think the reason why Raw did so bad was because Austin and Rock both left, but also Triple H took up way too many screen time, like the 20-minute long ass promos that he's like, I'm the game.
Pat Patterson nearly got fired because of you ever heard of that story about Pat Patterson almost getting fired because he told Vince like, yo, Triple H ain't cutting it on Raw, and that's why Raw is doing so bad.
No, I've heard that story, and it was true. It was fucking true. Pat wasn't about to bullshit you.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like in the fall of 04, and Vince was like, how come Raw's attendance or ticket sales or ratings are doing bad, and then freaking Pat Patterson looked at Vince and like it's that guy over there, and then he got suspended for like a couple months or whatever because Triple H and his big nose ego and whatnot. But
That was such
yeah,
bullshit
overall,
because Raw was such a chore to watch outside of, Kane's unmasking and going crazy and the Austin stuff. It was very unwatchable. As Edge said, SmackDown was the show built for go. Raw was the show that was all flash and no substance. Because if you wanted good wrestling with performers that people were invested in and cared about, you watched SmackDown, thus proving Heyman knew what the fuck he was doing. That's what and that's what that proved. Whenever people laughed at him whenever when he was asked who would he want for SmackDown, and he said Benoit Guerrero, and everyone laughed at him. Well, we got the SmackDown 6 out of that. Like, Raw was a fucking chore to watch. And plus, we got Katie Vick. Salute.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, even though there's a lot of bad, I'm talking about Deep Devil, like a lot of bad, it's still a Hall of Fame faction.
It is.
yeah, I'd still say so. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move to the next one. God, it breaks my heart to see that the only person still with us in this picture is Bret Hart, but the Hart Foundation, not the tag team, the stable.
I love this faction.
Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah.
We don't get Stone Cold
I'd say
Steve
Hart
Austin.
Foundation's fun.
We don't get Stone Cold Steve Austin as he is without the Hart Foundation.
I think so.
True.
I don't think it's Hall of Fame, but I think it's the top of amazing.
Yes,
Yeah,
because we did not get to see it fully flesh out long term because of what happened
I
with
agree.
Brett, Pillman, and then everyone except Owen went back to WCW after Montreal happened. So we never got to see it fully come to fruition. But the feud that they had with Austin, that right there, and then you look
In
at
general, all of them.
yeah,
like,
but also
Brett-
go look at the 10-man tag at a Canadian Stampede in Calgary where they were supposed to be heels, but like they were as big as God that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What faction is this next? I can't tell.
Oh, Hit Row, a
Hit
prepubescent Swerve.
Yikes.
Yeah, he was not swerving when he drove. Then that's mediocre as fuck. But a lot of it, I would say, comes down to not being booked.
This is like
I
the
definitely.
tail end of.
Legado del Fantasma was pretty fun to watch, but
I
can't
like
really
Legado
tell
del
anything
Fantasma.
else that happened that this faction did.
Just mediocre. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
Flop Dollar has turned into a damn good performer these days. Shout out to AJ Francis, and Swerve is Swerve, but as a faction,
It's just, like, the way I look at it, it's alright.
Yeah, so mediocre. All right. Next up, we got the House of Black.
could have been better.
Could have been better. That's how I feel.
And that's about
Yep.
it. Damn good talent in there, and big shout out to Brody King getting his big old push, and also Tony Khan. You're not slick out here copying Gunther choking out Dragon Lee with Brody King choking out MJF. You're not slick, dude.
I'm gonna be real. I was gonna say mediocre because, to be real, the only person that got elevated from this faction was Julia Hart.
True.
That's just me.
Wait, who's this next one? Is that Corbin?
Yeah, this is.
Oh,
King
that's
Corbin's court.
Yeah, I'm
consisting of King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode.
Oh, get the
Get
hell
out.
out of here!
That
That was an actual stable. I thought that was just like a filler, faction thing they were doing on SmackDown at the time. I didn't know they actually had a name.
That shit is trash.
I say this was a filler faction, and the reason why they was formed in the first place definitely belongs in the lowest tier.
Were
Because if you
they
go ahead
were they
feuding
put
with,
together to be fed to Roman or something?
Yeah,
yep,
Salute.
to feed
Oh,
yeah.
Roman dog food,
Ugh, Legacy.
No, the
legacy
dog
That
food.
mediocre.
like Legacy's trash.
It is.
ah, it's not good.
Anything with Ted
Legacy is
DiBiase
so
Jr.
bull-
is trash.
Yeah,
Now,
I,
like
I never cared for I never cared for Legacy. That was that was
that
their attempt
that
of making their own version of Evolution, but it
I,
sucked.
I just feel Legacy is just more of just Randy Orton. I feel like Cody and Ted DiBiase, they didn't really develop at all, like
And
during
They
the
did.
entire faction.
and you could tell they look like standing next to Randy Orton. They looked like they did not belong.
Yeah,
Remember,
the only thing they like have in common is that they're third generation superstars.
And
That's it.
that was it.
remember
and
they
they
were
was
supposed to have
Ted and
two.
Cody
It was
didn't
supposed to.
hardly got any time to shine as single stars. They just helped out Randy whenever they needed it or he needed them.
And then the few and then when they broke up, it was even more ass. Like
Yeah,
It was
Randy
supposed to
Orton
be a.
turned face.
Oh no!
It was supposed to be
Remember the other guy that started with them? What was it a Manu?
a. Yeah, and Sim Snuka.
Manu.
Yeah, formerly
I
known
can't believe
as
I grew
Deuce.
up in this era.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
Oh
supposed to
yeah,
be a
you
5 person. It was
mediocre.
supposed to be a
Should have not
5 person
happened. Yeah.
group.
dog. You grew up during the guest host era, bro. Salute.
Ugh, I
Like
was like,
True.
the only thing I'll say is that the reason why this isn't like flat out trash and mediocre is that at least '09 Randy Orton was good. But like besides that, that's it.
I mean, after WrestleMania 25, this faction literally was just
Yeah,
No,
unimportant.
it was
Nothing
it was
happened.
26 actually.
26. Yeah,
yeah, I was. I don't know. Yeah, it's
JBL's core.
JBL's cancer.
honestly, honestly, could have
Me
been honestly kind of good,
mediocre as hell.
but high
I
tier
would
of mediocre.
I
I
would
don't
High
think
say
tier of
it's, I don't
mediocre.
think
give
it's
him maybe
bad.
2, but in reality, what more could they have done with this?
Not really, because it was designed really just to get heat for JBL and for Cena to mow through.
Yeah, yeah.
All three of them were actually
I have
were
a
champions.
I have a soft spot for JBL when he was the WWE champion. I always liked that run, even though he
I,
didn't have like the best of matches, but he was a really great heel champion. Way more entertaining than
He
Triple H.
the only thing
his
I'll say. Oh, go
no
ahead.
his best match with Cena wasn't at Mania. It was the I Quit match they had at Judgment Day.
Yeah,
And also
That
The
yeah.
one
match
thing I'll
was
say.
so
his
brutal.
barbed wire steel cage with Big Show, a little underrated.
Even the triple threat with him with Big Show and Kurt at the Rumble was really good, and then the Fatal 4 Way. Even his match with Booker T at a Survivor Series was pretty good.
Yes,
You
it
know,
was.
he had some.
I
He,
enjoyed the 4 way they had at Armageddon. It was hit where
yeah,
he was running from Eddie, or he escaped Eddie, escaped Taker, bullshitted against Booker, and they had the 4 way. If you only took away stupid ass Heidenreich, it would have been even better.
remember that promo that JBL cut like a week or two before Armageddon, and he was like, he
Yeah,
got
I
out of the
know.
ring and he's like, yo,
Do I got to speak to you
I
in
don't
hip
speak in.
hop? Do you got to speak monster? Do I got to speak to you in Mexican? Do I got to tell it to you in hip hop? Is crazy.
I got to speak to you in Spanish. I just got to speak to. None of you three hoodlums are not gonna get a title shot.
From JBL. Insert Teddy Long. Hold on a
Yo,
minute, player.
JBL was such an entertaining heel, man.
He
Like he
was
was so fun as WWE champ.
because
JBL had an underrated peak.
as he described it, the JBL gimmick was a guy who convinced himself he was a tough guy when he actually wasn't.
I remember one
Yeah,
of the coldest. I remember. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say like I think the People's Court like did its purpose. It's not amazing. It's not spectacular, but I don't think it's trash. It definitely served its purpose to like help John Cena get over as the big guy. So yeah,
Yep.
I would
I
say
remember.
high end
Side
mediocre.
note.
high and mediocre.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember. I
Yep.
remember.
I
I
can-
remember. Side note. Side note with GB. I remember one of the coldest lines he's ever said was he said this to Rey Mysterio, and he was about to take his title. I was like, "Yo, I took I took belts off of your friends Eddie and Chris. You're the third amigo."
Mm.
Ooh.
That shit was that was like their build going into Judgment Day '06. It was such a cold ass line.
Hey,
Just wanted to say that.
speaking of cold lines, the next faction, Ron Simmons had one of the coldest lines I've ever heard, and because it's Ron Simmons, whatever he says, you believe the first time. He was, and by the way, I don't know if y'all knew this. Ron Simmons is the first black man to get a WWF Championship match in the history of the company ever. King of the Ring 90, King of the
Really?
Ring 97, and that was kind of that was the basis of the build on his side of things, because this was also when Undertaker was being blackmailed by Paul Bearer, which led to Kane, obviously. But his backstage promo, he says, "Undertaker, don't worry about Paul Bearer's blackmail. You worry about this blackmail."
Mm.
Mm. Also,
That's
so you know the Nation of Domination, which by the way, my mama did not like, on an aside, because she thought it was a bad perpetuation of black male stereotypes about of being the angry black
really.
man that blamed the white man for everything.
Mm.
So she was not a fan, even though she loved Ron Simmons. She was not a fan of the Nation of Domination. I was though. So I'm gonna put
Nothing
Well,
them
wrong
it's
with
on
that.
the
all
high,
It's
on the high end of good, but could have been better. But they're an
I
iconic
agree.
stable.
Yeah, I still think they were amazing. They were doing some good work. They got Rock over.
And he also got
They did.
D'Lo over, and Mark Henry.
Yeah, we can put it amazing. I thought they did their job.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, goated ass theme song.
We are the nation of domination.
I don't know if y'all remember this, but in the early days of the stable, when they had like a bunch of people dressed as like members of the Nation of Islam, and Crush and Savio Vega were in it, where there were these two indie wrestlers, really tiny guys. Now there was a tag team called PG-13, JC Ice and Wolfie D, and they used to rap the Nation to the ring, rap Farouk to the ring for his matches, and the shit was cold as hell. I think they have one of the most underrated entrances in WrestleMania history at 13 in the Chicago Street Fight against Ahmed Johnson and LOD. And they get into the ring after they do the rap, and let me see if I remember this right. They did a pledge of allegiance, and it went, "I pledge allegiance to the nation of domination, one nation under Farouk, with liberty and justice for no one by any means necessary." Black Power Fist.
Farouk is such an underrated mic speaker.
No, he absolutely is. Because listen, he didn't have to say a whole lot, but think about it. He was like that black dad you did not want to piss off, and if he had to raise his voice, everybody got the smoke.
Yeah, true, true.